Watch Who?
And welcome to the To Watch Who podcast. I'm Mark.
And I'm Sarah.
And I've been a Doctor Who fan for many years.
And I'm new to Who. I'm watching these for the first time.
Yes. And we're watching right from the very beginning, from 1963 onwards.
Yeah.
We're halfway through the first ever series.
I can't believe we're halfway.
Yeah, I know. It's going.
Are we
it's
over
going
halfway?
We've got this. Well, we've watched this story. Obviously, we've got 2 more to go. 2 more stories. So
we're over halfway.
12 episodes left now.
Yeah. Well,
nearly at the end.
Yeah. Crazy.
So you've got to know these characters for the very first time.
Yeah.
And last time we were talking about the Keys of Marinus, which was a really good adventure, sort of sci-fi.
I love the Keys of Marinus.
I'm surprised, actually, that you did. Because it's probably not a fan favourite, but I enjoyed it more than I ever have as well.
It's great. So much happened. Maybe it's because the Doctor wasn't there.
Oh, no, well, we like him now, don't we?
Yeah,
all the characters are sort of level at the moment.
They're
left the characters level. We'll see what happens in this one.
Yeah.
But we left them level.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm enjoying it because I'm watching it with people, with you. Maybe. Because a lot of these I've watched on my own.
Aww.
So maybe that's the reason. But anyway, so we left Marinus. We left the miniature TARDIS, took off.
Good.
Oh, that was it. I had an update.
Yeah.
I literally just said before recording I had an update. So we were talking about going back to the characters sort of being level and the Doctor, William Hartnell, actually having a bit of a break in the Keys of Marinus, didn't he? He was off for 2 weeks and came back in the last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And you were saying, I wonder when, in terms they were filming it, when the success came.
Yeah.
So I look back. So when the success of the Daleks was on TV, they were actually filming Marco Polo.
Oh, really?
So then they went into this. So yeah, it would have been a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
The success would have hit by now. So yeah, so we left the miniature TARDIS on the shores of Marinus.
The tiny
TARDIS. It took off and it said next episode, the Temple of Evil.
Yeah.
I can't remember what your prediction was for this.
I can't remember.
Because you have no idea what's coming up next.
No.
And it was only when I got the DVD out, you were like, oh, the Aztecs.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that enthusiastic.
I can't remember. But yeah.
So
I can't remember what I thought.
So that
I think I had no idea at all, actually.
I think you knew it was going to be historical, though. This is our proper sort of... I mean, we had Marco Polo, which we sort of didn't
I did
watch.
think it was going to be some sort of Egyptian thing, actually, because of the whole temple thing. I think I said that. So
this is what the sort of fans call pure historical.
Yeah.
Where it's just a bit... It's same as Marco Polo, where it's just the sort of... The TARDIS is the only sort of sci-fi element. And it's... You've got your main characters stuck in history, basically.
Yeah.
And it goes back again to being the sort of educational series.
Yeah.
But it's weird. I was thinking as well. I bet they don't really do Aztecs or Marco Polo in schools now. No. I bet the 60s school kids, like if you were going to do like an educational series of kids, Marco Polo and the Aztecs would not be your first choice.
I reckon the Aztecs would.
I reckon, but I reckon it was big in schools then in the 50s and 60s. But like nowadays, I reckon
Marco
they did.
Polo.
Yeah, but I reckon that's the kind of, it sort of shows the age. Like that is the kind of thing they probably did do in schools.
But the only reason I've heard of Marco Polo is because I swear there's a joke. They go, not a joke, but there's a thing. They go, Marco Polo. You know when someone's missing and you shout it, don't you?
Never heard that.
Have you never heard that?
No.
Where if you're lost, you shout Marco, and someone replies Polo. No.
What if you're not called Marco?
No, you just shout it and someone responds with Polo.
Oh, okay. No, never heard that before.
No. If we ever get lost and you hear me shouting Marco,
I'll say Polo.
You say Polo.
Okay, Polo.
And that's how we'll find each other.
Anyway, yeah. Back
What if your name's not Marco?
So back to historical. So this is quite a highly regarded episode amongst fans. If you're going back to fans. Back in the 90s, my time in the 90s, here we go. So this was, I would say it was in the top 10 ever stories.
Yeah.
And definitely sort of the number one first Doctor story. Back in the 90s, before the new series.
Yeah.
I think there was like, the Doctor Who magazine did a poll and it was always, this was like popular, this was the one out of all the, William Hartnell episodes. And then in the 50th, so you got the new series come out, and then the 50th anniversary, so you're halfway through Matt Smith.
Yeah.
Then the magazine did a poll of like all of the stories, like they got everyone to vote.
Yeah.
And this was much lower. It was like 60 or something like that. And actually the Daleks came out higher.
Oh, really?
So
is it just because it's the Daleks?
It sort of shows. Well, I know you've got the new series and stuff, but I think it's still highly regarded now. But I think now there's sort of a new generation of fans that sort of appreciate the Daleks or more sort of sci-fi ones. I think what I'm trying to say, in the 90s, when Doctor Who wasn't popular, it was almost, this is more speculation, it sort of wasn't cool. So it was like, oh, that Doctor Who is like the Daleks, or, you wouldn't show the Keys of Marinus with everyone dressed up in the gimp suits. It's like, oh yeah, this is a really, we really want this show back.
Yeah.
You'd go for more of the sort of drama, historical, and this has got a very moral side to it. And this could almost be like just a serious BBC afternoon play. But I think it's still highly regarded. And actually, the first Doctor and the whole first series, I don't think you get any fans that sort of argue that it's like they argue nowadays over stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's sort of a given. Everyone loves the first Doctor and Ian, Barbara and Susan. I think the only thing is, I think because it's historical and it's a little bit more serious, it might have just gone down in favour, and some of the other more sort of fun episodes have gained more popularity. Story, it's interesting to see how stories, in just general, there are some stories that are like, every fan is like, yeah, that one is completely rubbish. A whole consensus. I mean, you get people that love all different things.
Like, what was it called? The what did we do recently? The one that was 2 episodes that was dire.
Oh, Edge of Destruction. Well, there's still people that like Edge of Destruction, but there's later ones. It won't mean anything to you at the moment, but Time Flight is one that all fans are like, yeah, Time Flight is rubbish.
I can't wait.
It's gonna be like, and even that has sort of got a little bit more favour nowadays. But I feel like the Aztecs in the 90s was like, this is really, very had a very high opinion. So the videos, I've got to talk about the videos because that's weird, because my memories are always the videos rather than because I didn't see them on TV.
Yeah.
Never had this one, and it didn't appeal to me as a child. This historical, like,
you just
what is
the
there?
sci-fi.
I don't know what kids in the 60s thought. Maybe they did Aztecs at school and came home and wanted to see more Aztecs on TV. But my friend
you went
Tom,
for the gripping story.
But in like primary school, I started to get the videos, and my friend Tom, in infant school and primary school, he started to get a few of the videos, right?
Shout out to Tom,
who I haven't seen for over 20 years and haven't spoken to for over 20 years, so he's probably not listening now.
Tom, if you're listening, this one's for you.
Well, let's see. Maybe he doesn't want to listen. So our price did them for like $7.99.
What price?
Our price. Do you remember? Like the shop Our Price. Well, it was like HMV, but, back in the day. Listeners will know Our Price.
Was this an Essex thing?
No, it was everywhere. It was always Our Price. Do you not remember Our Price? No. Anyway, Our Price.
What, as in like the letter R? Or our?
O-U-R, like Our Price.
No.
No?
No.
It's like a video CD shop.
With Woolworths.
It was sort of like, Woolworthsy type thing. Or Woolworths, they sold the videos. But Our Price did them for like $7.99. This is when videos were like £13-14.
Yeah.
And it was, I used to buy some of them.
I remember it. Yeah. Sorry,
I used to buy some, and then he used to buy some, and it's weird, we never bought the same ones because we like lent them to each other. Anyway, he got one, and I can't remember what it was, and I remember him saying to me like, I got this from Our Price, but don't you go and get all of them because I want some. So you always get this. I was like, okay, I won't. I won't get them all. So he got the Aztecs basically, and I was like, I didn't get the Aztecs, but I never borrowed it off him or anything. I don't know. He was more into that thing. I remember him having the Aztecs on video, and then I never got it.
Oh, Mark, I'm sad
there we
for
are.
you.
So
you could have been a secret Aztecs fan your whole life.
I know. I could have watched this as a child and been like, "This is my favourite story." But
this is my calling.
But no.
You could have ended up being actually down a whole different path and become like a historian.
Oh yeah, I could have Aztec historian. Yeah, like Barbara.
Whole different calling from Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I watched an episode of Doctor Who. Changed my life.
Could be.
Tom ruined that. Shout out to Tom. Ruined Mark's life.
So when I watched this, I didn't find this interesting at all. And I think especially these 60s stories, because actually we've watched these together in sort of a block, so we watched all 4 together, and a lot of them we have, haven't we, that we've done so far. But I would suggest anybody that does find these ones a bit slow with the pace and a bit difficult to get through, the first time I really enjoyed this, I watched 1 episode a day.
Oh, did you?
And that really helped. And now we watched it together, and I love the characters, and I'm seeing it again in a different way. But especially 6 or 7 episodes, sometimes when you get the historical ones,
I didn't find this too bad.
If you're struggling with 62, have a break. Watch an episode a day, because they were designed. they were designed to be 1 a week, weren't they? As a serial. Yeah. So
if you're enjoying 62, that movie.
Oh, if I'm what?
If you're struggling with 62.
No, 60s who? Not 62.
I thought you meant the year or something.
No, we're in 64 anyway.
Sorry.
If you're struggling
with 64.
If you're struggling with 1964, just have a little bit of a break.
What on earth are you doing there?
They think I'm a reincarnation of that priest in the tomb. I found this and put it on, and when the high priest caught me, I was still wearing it.
So he thought you were a god?
Yes.
What did you initially think then, as us watching this 4-part story?
I didn't struggle as much as you seem to.
I didn't think you enjoyed it.
I mean, it wasn't. Things that made it were the panto villain. It wasn't wonderful. It wasn't. I think we'd come off a Keys and Marinus that was great.
I can't believe you found that so exciting. I think we're the only people ever to find Keys and Marinus exciting.
But just going back to it slightly. But what was good about the Keys and Marinus was the variety.
Yes, of
Whereas
course.
this, it was pretty much all the same, and it wasn't until like the last 2 where it started to really shift it up a little bit. If so you got where the Doctor found out how to get back, sort of like I almost forgot that they were trying to get back in the TARDIS because they were sort of stuck there for so long, and then I was like, oh wait, yeah, and then they found out how to get into the thing and how to get back into the tomb, and all that. But up until then, it was just very sort of stuck in its place.
Well, I don't know if it's sort of trying to get across sort of the society and do a bit of a history lesson. So they land in the TARDIS. They land in the tomb. The TARDIS lands in the tomb, doesn't it?
Yes.
And there is a little bit of a history lesson there because Barbara, history teacher.
Yeah.
She loves the Aztecs, funnily enough.
Fancy that.
She's saying, oh, what a great society, and has a little bit of a chat with Susan about it. And then they mention about they did human sacrifices and stuff. So if you didn't know, I didn't know anything about the Aztecs before I watched Doctor Who, to be honest.
Now you do.
So they've got to get across that.
What little I know about them doesn't impress me. Cutting out people's hearts.
Oh, that was only one side to their nature. The other side was highly civilized.
Well, the Spanish didn't think so.
Oh, they only saw the acts of sacrifice. That was the tragedy of the Aztecs. The whole civilization was completely destroyed, the good as well as the evil.
So that's all set up, and then you have, there's a sliding door, let me just say.
Classic Doctor Who.
Our next sliding door with the tomb opening.
They love
and
a
they
sliding
go through.
door.
So the main thing is Barbara wants to change Aztec society, doesn't she? So she is mistaken for this god, Yatexa.
So they end up in the side of the tomb where someone has died.
Yeah.
And obviously you're buried with all like your jewellery and everything. And she puts on the jewellery.
That snake thing round her, doesn't she?
And they end up going through a sliding door, of course, because it's Doctor Who and everything's a sliding door.
Sliding door.
Yeah, of
tomb.
course. And they're about to kill her, and then they notice the bracelets, so they think that she's a reincarnation.
Yeah.
And then because of that, they follow what would have been the case, but she sees this as an opportunity to
So you've got
change the
got her. She wants to change things, but also the main thing is they just want to get back to the TARDIS and get out of there as well.
Yeah.
So it's a very basic thing, and within that you learn all about society. So that's why it's a bit slow, I think, to start with.
Yeah.
But really the main thing is, and I think this is why it is sort of high in fan opinion, you've got Barbara versus the Doctor.
Yeah.
Barbara wants to change history. The Doctor is saying you cannot change history, and that argument that they have is always in the top 10 Doctor Who moments, and and it's the first time that's sort of addressed. We haven't really had a history or changing history
No.
at the moment, have we?
No.
This is the beginning of the end of the sun god.
What are you talking about?
Oh, don't you see? If I could start the destruction of everything that's evil here, then everything that is good would survive when Cortez lands.
But you can't rewrite history. Not one line.
Are you Team Barbara or Team Doctor?
At this point, so actually, I think the Doctor is very... In this one, the Doctor's at his peak. And this is where it comes back to, just like side, I think this is where the actor has accepted that it's a good series. And I think he's now acting it as it should be. Before, everything was so bitter, whereas now it's almost like the same lines, but with actual acting to it and actual... Do you know what I mean? Like, it's those same lines as what it would have been before. I don't think the lines are any different. I think if you had the same... Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Well, he is a completely different character to when we met him in Unearthly Child and the Daleks.
But I don't think the script has changed that. I think it's him as the actor and the way that he delivers. Decided,
not, yes,
exactly. I think he's accepted.
Because when Barbara and Doctor have that argument, he shouts at her. He shouts at her and he gets angry.
But he's also quite compassionate.
But then afterwards, he's like, "Look, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We'll work it out." So definitely by now, that is the team. Again, the team has leveled out. Well, apart from this sort of argument, when they land, they explore. Barbara and Ian again. I thought they were always trying to get home. They haven't mentioned, we're trying to get us home. We're not home. Why are we not home?
No.
They're enjoying the adventures.
They're on it.
And and the Doctor, they are still that team, aren't they, that we saw before?
Yeah.
But then the Doctor knows. I don't know, what do you think of Barbara? She just goes off and does this.
Yeah, I know.
She goes rogue. She's gone for like 5 minutes, comes back completely changed as this Aztec god.
Barbara has had about 3 episodes now, 3 or 4 in a row, where she's gone rogue.
She is, isn't she?
Now,
and this is not the character. Well, but again, this is not the character we saw in the Daleks with the radiation, is it?
But is it? Let's just have a moment here. I think Barbara is just a rogue person. I'm like...
Hang on, well, how can she go... Okay.
So, first of all, she's just an outcast like side. She might have, she's got some spirit to her. Now she's going the whole other way of it. She's got too confident.
Right, okay.
Do you know what I mean? She was it's like some sort of weird...
She's gone from useless to...
Overcompensating.
Well, she's a history teacher as well, so she's going to... And they land in her favourite time, which she's written probably a PhD on. What did she do in the last one? The last one, Keys at Marinus?
Yeah. She ended up some sort of goddess in that, didn't she?
What, in the Morpherton City?
Yeah, and then screamed at everyone. Classic Barbara going ahead. But you know what I mean? Classic Barbara going ahead, because now she's confident.
Well, yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, I've not really seen it like that. Well, she's enjoying the adventure.
Apparently so. I know. Maybe this is it now. She's
the first out the TARDIS, isn't she?
I know. She's
Ian and
gone
the
rogue.
Doctor are ages before they walk out the TARDIS. Rogue. I think she's playing it as a real person would. You go back in history, you see something terrible, you're going to want to try and change it. I'm probably at the back of her mind, she knows it's useless, but she's got to try. And she's probably loving being an Aztec god.
Probably that. It's all gone to her head. Twice now in a row, she's been treated like a god.
That's true.
This one, and this goddess in... Then she screamed at everyone, but...
And her knowledge comes in useful.
Yes.
Because she has to recite... They try and test her, don't they? And she has to recite all the gods and all the... She knows the culture. She knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And she tries to protect the others because she knows...
Yeah. Right, okay. I think she's gone from being no confidence... But it's not even no confidence. She's useless. Like that. And I stick by that statement.
But she's not useless anymore.
She's not. But now they're almost having to keep track of Barb. Rein her in. Keep track of Barb. She's gone the other extreme. She's
Don't let Barbara out the TARDIS.
Yeah. What did he say at the start? I told her not to go out or something.
Yeah.
That's Barbara.
And there's that moment, isn't it, where she's like, not Barbara, you text her. That was
Yeah.
That was the moment, wasn't it? When that was her roguest moment.
Yeah, she's rogue. So I've been. I think that's it. She's gone like.
It was after Edge of Destruction that changed it. That argument where she shouted at the Doctor, wasn't it? And then ever since then.
Yeah, that's it. She's like.
Isn't it? But no, I'm glad that the Doctor is more of a likeable character. It's starting to, maybe not the hero, because actually, again, I mean, he's in this, but it's still Ian that takes that sort of hero action thing. He's the more sort of mind behind it, and he's sort of links them all together, doesn't he? But I'm enjoying watching the Doctor now, rather than he's been that annoyed, sort of angry. He's been sort
character.
Of like so do you like this Doctor?
I like
this Doctor. You can see him as the Doctor.
Yes, now. I can see him as the Doctor, and I can see him as the title character of the series, whereas before I couldn't. He was not carrying the series, whereas now you can see that he is the man with the knowledge, with the ideas. Even if he's not leading the story, they still depend on him in other capacities. That wasn't the case before.
Yeah.
And he'd no characteristics really to do that. He was just selfish.
No, but so he's not selfish anymore.
He's not as selfish really, anymore, no. But and his other characteristics are, I mean, like even he ends up getting engaged, doesn't he? Like by accident. That whole scene. But he, you know, even then, that whole sort of that charm side, you would never have had all that charm.
No,
before.
that's the thing, because we said like in the Daleks, he didn't really talk to the Thals. He was not interested in that at all. But then you see him. Well, let's go. We've got some notes on that. Let's go through. So is it Carmaker?
Kamaka.
I think it's Kamaka.
Let's go with
in
that.
The sort of retirement garden.
Yeah.
He's sent. They're all sent off, aren't they? Once Barbara's got, they send them off. So he gets sent to the retirement garden, and he's he needs to know. He's trying to find out information about the tomb, isn't he? So he's chatting to people, meets Kamaka, bit flirty.
An interested mind brooks no delay.
Yes, and I'm sure that's true of you too.
It was true. And I am content to spend the time here like the others.
Oh, but their minds are old, Kamaka. And that's something I'm sure yours will never be.
Your heart is young, too, Doctor.
So even how he treats everybody around him, I know he's trying to get information.
Yeah.
I still feel like he would be like that anyway, even if he was just there to explore.
Yeah. He still like notices
and it's
that
comedy actually as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
The comedy moments.
That would not have happened before.
Is this our sort of first comedy moment with the
We laughed.
Doctor?
We both
did?
but not in like a that is a like normally when we laugh it's at something like the tiny TARDIS sitting on the hill, or like something like they're wearing no trousers still, or something like that. Whereas that was a genuine, the script made us laugh moment.
And he's a good comedy actor as well. I think he enjoys doing that. And he's starting
when he realises he's engaged and his face, like we actually laughed.
It's great. Yeah.
So,
and they didn't have to write that in, did they? Really, he could have been more the science. I need to get to the tomb. I need to do this. But
it gives his character more depth.
Moments. It's those moments.
It gives his character depth that he didn't have before. And it's needed because he was horrible.
Yeah, it's just such a difference, isn't it? It's just such a difference. He was
just horrible. But now he's all right.
Yeah,
he's all right.
Okay, well, let's carry on through the other characters then.
Yeah,
what we'll talk about. So Ian.
Well, should we talk about Susan very quickly?
Okay, Susan.
Because Susan's not here.
This is Susan's holiday.
Yeah,
isn't it? She's got 2 weeks off. She only appears on film.
Yeah.
Which I pointed out when we watched it. Would you have noticed necessarily?
I don't know.
Because when it cuts to her, she gets sent off to the school basically.
Yeah.
To learn about Aztec,
society.
She did something, didn't she? I can't remember. She defied the law, or she did something. Or she walked in.
She defies law.
Anyway, they're like, she's got to be taught a lesson, and off she goes.
To literally be taught a lesson.
Taught a lesson. But when she did, I don't know if you noticed in those scenes, you can tell it's on film because the sets are suddenly massive and well lit.
Yeah.
And it looks completely different.
Yeah. It did have a different quality.
It has that quality.
I don't know if I would have spotted it straight off.
That's the sort of a fan thing where you end up reading about it and watching the documentaries and the commentaries. And
yeah.
I can't, which is a bit of a shame really, because now whenever I do watch these ones because I've watched so many sort of making ofs and read everything. I can't help but
spot
those things and know that immediately. She's on holiday, so they've pre-filmed some stuff just to cut in.
Yeah. I don't know if I would have spotted it, but I mean, it sounded quieter, and like the as in the audio sounded better and stuff like that. So that I spotted, but I don't know, maybe. But it's hard to say what I might have noticed, what I wouldn't have noticed, because you told me.
Yeah, I won't say next time, and then I'll ask you afterwards.
Yeah.
So this isn't really Susan's story, is it?
No.
She learns some stuff. The only thing that we were laughing about is she possibly gets engaged.
Oh, yeah.
Which was Love is Blind.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Susan has a Love is Blind episode.
Oh, my gosh.
I shall take her as my bride.
Bride? He thinks I'll marry him? He must be mad.
So I'm watching Love is Blind at the minute. Well, part of it. I sort of got into it, then I'm like, I can't cope, it's ridiculous. And I watch it again, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. I'm very slowly watching Love is Blind. I know it finishes and everything, because like, it's all over social media, but that's not the point. I'm still watching it. And yeah, I was watching, I was telling you about it. It was like just before, so I was like, Mark, watch this is ridiculous. And then we were literally like, this is Love is Blind.
It's Love is Blind, because they're like, Susan, you're going to marry him. She's like, no. Well, and Love is Blind 2 is the Doctor and Kameka as well. So there's two lots of Love is Blind in this.
Yeah, we were loving it.
But yeah, apart from that, Susan is just sent off to the school, and then they collect her at the end, and off she goes. Yeah, it's not a Susan moment. Not even as much of a scream. Not even much of anything, really.
She's happy to pop off, isn't she?
It's a shame that they can't... I know they're on holiday and it's written because of that, but I wonder... what she couldn't have really done much. Is that a bit of a stretch? Because the Doctor's now doing a lot, Ian's doing a lot, Barbara's got a thing. What would have Susan done if they made it a 6-episode story? She would have had her own thing.
Maybe this is why it's a fan favourite.
So what? Because Susan isn't in it? Maybe. But there's no monsters or anything though, so it's more. Okay.
Well, you do have monsters. You have different kinds of villains.
Ah, true. Yes, true.
Should we get to Ian?
So Ian does his thing.
Yeah, Ian. Ian gets sent to the army.
Well, he does. He does. So he does a lot of fights in this, doesn't he?
He does. Now, when did Ian learn to fight as much as this?
Well, so he fights Ixtar.
Yeah.
And then we rewrote Street Fighter Ian because at the end there's a big fight, isn't there?
Yeah.
Felt like we'd seen it before. Maybe we've just seen the same stunt people. So I said,
Probably.
So there's the fight in the caves in Unearthly Child, which is very similar.
Yeah.
Does he fight in the Daleks? He doesn't really, does he?
I don't
know. But he is, suddenly he's Street Fighter.
In Unearthly Child, he doesn't do that much fighting, does he?
Well, no, it's the two cavemen.
Yeah.
The way that they...
Yes, none of it's ever Ian, is my point.
Yeah, he does a lot he does a lot of action stuff in Keys and Marinus.
That's it.
He's done a lot of potholing.
That's it. So basically, he's done a lot of jumping on ropes.
Yeah.
And then he, like, saved the day in Keys and Marinus. Like, he helped, but not fighting, as in, like, just like a bit of, like...
But maybe as it's Aztecs, they're not as good as fighting as, like, a modern... man.
They do street fighting. And also, I mean, there's no weapons or anything. Like, they kill each other. I reckon it's, like, more brutal than we think. It's not like they've got a gun to be lazy with.
Yeah, I suppose so. Well, Ian is a fighter.
Ian is a pro. And it's also the cockiness of it. It's when he goes up to and he goes, I could do it with just my 2 fingers stood here. And he, like, puts him to the ground.
This is all I need.
To win a victory with your thumb needs magic.
To know your enemy's weakness isn't magic, it's common sense.
It is the cockiness of it. I was like, where did Ian, where have all these skills been for the entire series today? We have not seen.
But you could look at it as he has to do it, otherwise he's going to die.
Well, yeah, completely. But the number of times that they've been stuck in situations, where has Street Fighter Ian been?
Well, he only in certain situations, in life and death situations.
When he's sent to the army.
Yeah, when he gets sent to the Aztec army. And there's that bit with the poison thorn thing, isn't it? So there's all that mix-up.
Even then he got through that pretty well, considering.
He actually got poisoned by it, didn't he?
Yeah, he got poisoned, and it's supposed to weaken you. And he pretty much, like, made it to the end.
Okay. Is Ian still your number 1 hero?
I mean, he's either 1 or 2.
Okay.
He does save the day in this.
Well, he does pretty much every week, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
When someone's on holiday, Ian is the person.
Yeah, I know. What they're going to do next week? Is it next? I don't know. Whatever week it is, when Ian goes on holiday,
Ian is due on holiday soon.
It's him or Barbara.
Yeah.
So when he goes on holiday, who's going to street fight then?
So who would be your number one then, if Ian wasn't?
Then the Doctor.
The Doctor. So he's gone from like right to your shoe, as you said, to number one.
Yeah.
That is a big leap.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but so did Barbara.
It's never going to be Barbara,
fair.
Is it? She's never going to be your number one.
Barbara did in after Edge Destruction.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because she had some.
She worked it all out and did it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Ian's always great. But the Doctor in this, I mean, because he's got depth of character.
The difference in this is because of Barbara, no one's saying, "Oh, Barbara, look after you, Barbara."
Yeah.
Or even Susan.
Yeah.
She's not there. There's no, because Ian would normally be with Barbara and looking after her and making, and the Doctor would be looking after Susan, because they're sort of in different positions.
The ironic thing
isn't
is, in this, Barbara has to look after them.
Yes.
It's a very different shift.
Well, lucky she hasn't got radiation poisoning this time.
Oh my God, they'd be
it?
screwed. I'm feeling a bit faint. God, Barbara. But that is the difference. She's their lives are in her hands. If she doesn't keep up her thing, they're all in danger.
The other thing that Ian does is he gets trapped in that tomb, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Because they're trying to find a way out, and they go through the garden. So the Doctor works out there's what he thinks there's an entrance.
Yeah.
And then you have that cliffhanger with the water rising, and so this is like what, the fourth time he's been underground, potholing.
At least, yeah.
Tomb.
At least classic.
Ice caves.
It is a classic Doctor Who
So,
script.
if
Is
anyone's
what I've
gonna
learnt
go-
so far.
Yeah.
This is a classic Doctor Who script idea.
Yeah, and obviously he's fine. It's a cliffhanger moment, and then he's fine.
Yeah, and it's a proper like, how's he going to get out? And I did not expect him to suddenly find a little like, boop.
Bit and got out, and then that's how they
Not see that coming at all.
So yeah, Ian's again same as always. Really, he's reliable.
Yeah,
Isn't
we
he?
like Ian.
He's reliable. And our sort of our guest characters this time then. So Ortlock.
Oh, sorry, just going back really quick for Street Fighter Ian. I genuinely thought that it was all done, as in like, okay, so they've gotten to the end, like they're going to get out. And then when that Ixtar appears at the end to fight him, I genuinely thought Ian was just going to be like, okay, guys, let's go. It was the fact that Ian was like, almost like, I've got unfinished business to do, and fights him.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's a long fight as well, isn't it?
It is a long fight. That was like, this, where is Street Fighter? That was a moment where I was like, where is this Ian? Where has he come from?
So our guest characters this time, our main two, we've got Ortlock, who is the High Priest. So he believes Barbara.
Yes.
And is sort of on her side, and you sort of feel sorry for him, don't you?
Oh, yeah. He walks through the garden.
So he's got faith in her, and then he has to Barbara, okay. Barbara. He ends up exiling himself from the whole of society.
I know. That's because of Barbara.
Because Barbara had an idea. Because Barbara went ahead.
Yeah, because Barbara left for TARDIS, because Barbara went ahead. Because Barbara's gone rogue.
Actually, what happens to the guy that Ian fights? He dies.
He dies.
Ian, dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was going to say...
Street Fighter Ian is between them. One of them has to die.
He dies, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but then Ortlock, he hasn't done anything wrong. He's trusted Barbara.
Yeah.
He's done everything she said.
He even got hit on the head.
Yeah, he got hit on the...
Roxel hates you, I know that, and Ixtar does his bidding. And I am bewildered by the things that happen. I have many doubts, but in this matter I must believe you.
And then she's like, "Look, I'm really sorry, Ortlock. It's not real. I'm off."
No, she didn't say it to Ortlock. She said
it was Ortlock. It was Ortlock.
Was it Ortlock?
It was Ortlock, yeah. Because Ortlock kept the secret, I think.
No, she told
Thetoxel.
She told Thetoxel because he's like, you are not. What is the name who she's supposed to be?
Yatexa.
Yatexa, you are not Yatexa. I will prove it. And then,
That's really good.
he's a villain. He's like a panto villain. You are not Yatexa. And then she's going on and on. And he goes, and then she finally goes, yes, I'm not. And he goes, I knew it. And then he tries, and she was like, but you can't prove it. And if you do, then I will. So he tries this whole time, basically, to kind of like do her out. So it's around the 3rd episode. And he's like, oh, we need to. That's how Altlock gets hit on the head.
Oh, I see. Yes. And then to make it.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So they don't really.
And so they test Barbara, because then if they test, he's constantly trying to test her power and knowledge, and Thoughtlock's trying to. Thoughtlock?
Altlock.
Oh, no.
Photoxel.
Photoxel's trying to get Barbara to show her powers, because Altlock's like, why didn't you just use your powers? And she's like, I don't need to do that, or I can use my brains rather than my... Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great villain, though.
Oh, yeah.
He is great.
He's such a panther. It's the, like, thing across his mouth.
Yeah. I don't know. Obviously, that must be as...
paint.
But like what the Aztecs used to do, I'd have no idea.
I don't know.
It must be.
Don't know. We don't know. I mean, we don't know.
Historical for the BBC, the costumes and the set, it all looks great.
Yeah,
it does. But no, he's great, and he wins in the end. Actually, the villain wins.
He does win.
Great God of the sun and the warriors, I, Clotoxel, thank you for this victory. In your honor, let perfect sacrifice be made.
Society continues.
Carries on as that, and he can carry on killing people.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for Altlock though.
Yes,
really do.
And
actually, Kameka as well. She's like, oh, he's off. She sort of understands that the Doctor's not going to stay around.
Yeah.
So they all go in actually, don't they, and upset everybody
because of Barbara.
All because Barbara went on ahead and put that bracelet on.
Well, do you know what, though? It would have been fine if Barbara had gone ahead and put the bracelet on. But it's the fact that Barbara wanted to change history.
Okay, then, so how would you sum up your enjoyment of this one, then, so far?
I thought it was good. Like I said, it was very panto-y, which made me laugh.
But it wasn't too slow, like the pace.
No,
think?
I think
I felt like it was very Shakespeare.
Yeah, So when we talked about the whole historical thing, and I don't know whether it's just the way that we watched it, but Marco Polo, I would have been so bored in that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, 7 weeks of that would have been
dire.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm seeing it more that I can have that. It's hard to make you can't make that judgment because you can't compare the two. They're different forms.
I suppose you're used to watching 60s Who now.
Yeah.
So you know what to expect. So,
also, I'm watching an episode and I'm comparing it to something that I saw some still pictures of. So I can't really make that fair assessment. But whereas this felt a little bit more rounded in terms of like the characters actually felt like the villain felt like a proper villain. Yeah. Whereas in Marco Polo, the villain was a little bit more. I don't know. He didn't really feel like. He was like part of it, but then I don't know, it was a bit of a weird one.
There's more characters and more going on in Marco Polo, I suppose. Yeah. This is more condensed, more... You've got your set characters.
It's very concentrated.
It's very much like a stage play. You could do Aztecs a stage play, couldn't you?
Easily. Yeah. And, it was good. And even the history side, I mean, even like Susan... when she goes to school, that's her learning as well. And then as an audience, you learn. So, yeah, I think it worked in that sense.
It's the same writer as Marco Polo.
Is it? Yeah. I think, but I think I loved The Week Before for the variety.
Yeah, well, yeah. We'll go back to space soon.
It's not even the space. It was just a variety of storyline.
Yeah.
It was just a variety. And I think, so after that, I think this is very much, it felt very static, literally. Although what I will say is the start, the way it's set up is really quick. And I thought the way they set it up was really good.
They go straight into it. Yeah, no, that's true.
And it was set up so, like, she comes out, she talks straight away about, like, you know, you're reminded that she's a history teacher straight away. She talks about the Aztecs. She talks about their society. It's great. That's really quick. It just sometimes feels a little bit like certain points of it are just there for the sake of being there. There's that whole thing, isn't there, where Ian and his fight with
Ixtar.
Ixtar, yeah. His fight with Ixtar. All that stuff feels really long-winded.
They got to pad it out, though, I suppose.
But that's it. Like, it's stuff like that.
But they've got to make it an adventure. They're trying to make it an adventure at the same time, aren't they?
Yeah.
But again, maybe watching it once a week.
Yeah, exactly.
You probably wouldn't notice that as much.
Yeah, exactly. But whereas in the Keys of Marinus, that's where it was different because every week was a new adventure. So when I'm comparing the two, like after another week, I'm like, oh gosh, this feels slow.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So like I say, it's sort of a hard sort of thing to compare it to. And also, Marco Polo, at least, although the story I don't really enjoy, like I'm comparing like against two different formats here, but one being like an audio of still pictures and the other being an actual episode. But at least that one, it continued to move because they were travelling.
Yeah, they're going from place to place.
Whereas this one is static.
It's literally like 3 sets, isn't it?
Yeah.
3 different places.
It is static. And actually, I think it was the Ian fighting whole scenarios that was the most boring. I couldn't understand a lot of why that was happening so much.
Yeah.
Like it didn't need to.
But then if you didn't have that, it's Barbara just standing around talking the whole time.
There were points though where it was happening for the sake of nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
well, he gave you your cliffhangers, didn't it, as well?
Yeah. You could have lost a week. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
You could have lost 1 week.
4 episodes is sort of a good... It becomes more of the format, like...
Was it 4 or 5?
4.
Oh, yeah, this could have been 3.
4. But 4 episodes becomes the standard later on for a lot of... That is your typical Doctor Who story is usually 4 episodes.
Yeah. I think this could have become 3.
Yeah. And then, I don't know if you remember the ending. So they get into the TARDIS.
Yeah.
And they take off. And they get changed. They go. They get changed. So Barbara's out of her taxa stuff. And the Doctor doesn't know where they are. He thinks they've landed, but they're still moving.
Oh.
And then Barbara's like, oh, maybe we're inside something that's moving. And the next episode is called Strangers in Space.
Bum, bum, bum.
So
that makes me think that we're in the future in some sort of sci-fi thing. Just a thought. I feel like it's a sci-fi one.
Yeah. So there we go. That's a clue for next time.
I feel that it's the future of the Aztecs. Further on from that, in space, a sci-fi one. That's what I'm guessing.
Okay. So we're on a 6-episode story next.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed this more than I thought you would.
Yeah, it wasn't the best, but there were parts of it that I did enjoy.
Yeah.
Like, it's better than Edge of Destruction.
Yeah. And I like the variety. You go from somewhere each story is something else. You can think of this story over a whole series.
Yeah.
In the first series for this show, it's gone so many different places already. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, that's another one down. Heading towards the end of the series. I think what we're going to do at the end of the series, we'll do a little mini episode just looking back generally. So if you are listening or watching along with us, would like to let us know what you think on any of the stories so far or anything in this whole first series, you can get in touch with us on Twitter, 2WatchWho, or Instagram, 2WatchWho. That's TWO, Watch Who. So let us know what you think, and then at the end of the series, we'll do a big sort of look back, and then we can read out comments and see what other people think, and if they agree or not.
My thoughts on Ian
we'll have some
and Barbara.
chat, more Barbara chat.
Barbara.
Barbara and Ian fans, you've got to get in touch. We want to know. So we will see you next time.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
To Watch Who.
Hey, Doctor Who? What are you talking about?